unless something like fundamentally changed in the landscape, I wouldn't see myself switching from a tool like Amplitude. But frankly, if I was happy with Mixpanel, if I was happy with any of these other tools, I wouldn't see myself switching, just because it would be such a big pain in the butt to change everything to work with the new system.
Got it. No, that makes sense. Great. So, let's move on in sort of the experience you would have, hypothetical experience you'd have with your new vendor. So 9 months later, the system's in, it's running. Can you just walk through sort of the use cases for that type of system, in terms of what types of events they do, or, does it do things like quarterly reports, or is it more like real-time assessments that people do ad hoc? I guess, can you just talk through what, a typical day or week would look like in terms of a company using this type of product?
Sure. So there's many different types of like teams within a product team. I think that if you're on the growth team at Facebook, you are running experiment. Like Facebook has like thousands of different like versions of Facebook that people experience each day, and they want to measure the impact of the experiments that are running within those different versions of Facebook. So there are teams that are going to be looking at the results and the differences between variations on a daily basis. People are going to be rolling out new features, and they're going to be closely watching the adoption of those features. There are going to be teams that care about things on a weekly basis. So like for B2B apps, it's less about daily active users, and it's more about to remove the variability with weekends. You care about weekly active users. So I think there are probably very different teams that care about different use cases within different time periods. So, you're definitely going to have some sort of monthly reporting that you need to do potentially to your team, to your division, to the executive team. Whether it's like if you're generating product qualified leads, you need to know how many product qualified leads you generated. If you had some shift or goal in engagement, you care about that monthly. So I think there's, I think depending on the team, I would set up different processes and like rhythms that each of those teams would go through. And I think there are use cases for daily, weekly, and monthly, and then obviously annual reviews.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And in terms of, adoption of the product internally within the company, I know you mentioned earlier some companies have customer success managers to help, their companies get more people to use the product. Do you think there's any player that does that particularly well? And, for those players that do it well, do you think, again, once they're, have their tentacles in the company, so to speak, that the use of the number of people that use the product will continue to grow over time as well?
Yeah. So I engage with customer success managers at Mixpanel and Amplitude. They're both very nice people, very friendly, very warm, outgoing, wanted to help. I had a much better experience and outcome working with the customer success group at Amplitude rather than Mixpanel. They make Amplitude, and maybe it's just the reflection of the individuals I worked with, right? I didn't work with that many specific CSMs, but I found that the CSMs and the people in customer success at Amplitude were more technical and able to explain the ways in which you would use their product specifically for my team and for the people on my team. They just seem much more accessible and knowledgeable than my experience with their counterparts at Mixpanel.
Okay, that's helpful. And so would you say, if you had to make a generalization, or, if you feel comfortable doing that, it sounds like, once the vendors in the company, you know, if they're